What's going on, everyone? So, Judy Greer is expected to be in the upcoming Scream 7 film. This makes a lot of sense, right? She has a relationship with Kevin Williamson. She did that movie Cursed. She's somebody that is in the horror space and is known in the horror space. She was in the recent Halloween trilogy. So, she is definitely an actress that could make a lot of sense, has ties, has connections, and could play a significant role in the upcoming Scream film. Now, there are rumors going around as to what her role uh, may potentially be. Again, say it every time, but just want to make it clear it's all rumors. Don't take this as literal or fact or gospel. This is just a grain of salt. But it does kind of make sense, right? That Judy Greer in the upcoming Scream movie is said to be playing the role of a type of Karen. That she is potentially one of Sydney's neighbors who doesn't really like Sydney and views her as an attention seeker, which I think is an interesting spin and could make for an interesting kind of story with her. Also, does she end up being the killer? Huh? Huh? Little Ghostface action from Judy Greer. Now, look again. She was somebody that was in the movie Cursed. She was crazy in that movie. If you remember that movie without spoiling it for anybody, I mean, even though it's been around forever, so should have seen it by now. But she could play crazy. I'll tell you that. So, her in the Ghostface role could make a lot of sense. Could be a lot of fun. Obviously, I don't want it to be too predictable, right? Judy Greer being in this film probably would probably make it a little predictable regardless. But again, story, execution, delivery, all of that can really go a long way. So again, I don't personally. I understand that you want to an extent a level of mystery when it comes to Ghostface. I don't really care too much. Like, obviously, I don't want it to be something that's just like so blatantly, ridiculously, unnecessarily obvious, right? Like, you don't want it to be something where it's just like come on, could you at least put some effort into it, right? Like, you don't want anything like that. But if it's like a good story, good reasoning, good motive, good logic, right? Like, you have a couple twists and turns along the way, then I'm all for it, right? I'm okay with knowing who the killer is, or who more than likely not the killer is, right? Because especially now, as far as we've gone into Scream, like, one, you kind of know the deal, you kind of know the ropes. But even then, even if you do have your questions, right, like, it's just like when you're talking about Scream, there's only so many people it could be that are the killers. It's just always going to be very limited, right? So, say there's 9 characters in this film, right? Well, right off the bat that, like, Sydney and Gail, Mark Kincaid probably, and like her kids. So you could eliminate probably half the cast right there with, like, okay, none of them are going to be the killers. So then it just boils down to, like, who the new people are, right? And usually, even then, once you see the announcements of who the characters are, you can kind of get a feel for, like, okay, these people are probably the early deaths. These people are kind of probably the random deaths, right? Like, if you get like the more hotter celebrity right now, it's like, okay, well, like, they're probably the opening scene. It's going to draw the attention, right? Like, it's just, you can kind of narrow it down to, like, okay, it's basically these 3-4 people, right? And then sometimes it's like, oh, well, it's all of them. So again, I don't really necessarily mind that. Now, as far as like the, Karen type actor or character, I actually don't mind that. Like, I actually think Judy Greer would make a ton of sense in that, right? Like, she's kind of could play that, like, snobby kind of, like, just complains about everything, kind of bitchy type character. I think that she could play it well, right? Even if she's not the killer, I think you could easily use her as a red herring. You could have some fun and poke some fun at it, right? Like, have a couple, like, Halloween references and maybe some curse reference, like, oh, be careful, you might turn into a werewolf or something, right? Like, it's just like fun stuff, right? Like, it's like, oh, what do you are you going to be Michael Myers for Halloween or something like that? Just kind of have some fun throwaway lines, or maybe have her like wearing the sweater or something like that, or maybe she has like a mask that kind of looks like a Michael Myers mask, right? Like there's a lot of fun that you can kind of do and get away with. That could be kind of like the meta aspect of Scream. But look, I said it when it was kind of first put out there and rumored that, like, hey, she may be involved in this film. I said it then. I said, no, I'm pumped for that. I think she is an excellent actress. I think she's somebody that can deliver on multiple facets, right? Like I think whatever role you put her in, I think she's gonna shine and she's really gonna stand out as a character. I think her kind of being like one of the more focal characters, kind of seems like this is gonna lean towards kind of like the older characters, right? It's gonna be kind of focused around Sydney and her family, and have some Mark Kincaid, some Gail Weathers. She's gonna have a nanny, an older nanny that's helping and watching her kids. And then you have like the Karen neighbor, right? So now you start kind of putting the pieces together, which I do like the idea of like a more mature. No, it's not like a bunch of high school kids running around, right? I mean, usually they're not really high school kids, but you get my point, right? Like it's going to be more grown, more adults, more just kind of getting taken out by Ghostface. I like the idea. And I just think that, again, obviously you give her good material to work with. I think she's going to shine and thrive in it. I would love to see her and, Gail Weathers maybe have some back and forth. Her and Courtney Cox kind of going at each other. I think that could be a lot of fun. Her and obviously Neve Campbell, Sidney Prescott going back and forth and going in on each other, right? Like, use this opportunity, right? I think that this is something that could really benefit an audience and just create some good, just memorable scenes, right? If she's Ghostface, I think she would knock that out of the park. If she has a death scene, I think that it would be a fun death scene. Hopefully it's not something like in Halloween Kills, right? Like I thought that was kind of lackluster personally. I was kind of like, and Michael Myers just kind of like teleports randomly. Right? Like it's just like, dude, so like what happened? Like how did he get there so fast? But if whatever you're gonna do with her character, just make sure you handle it in a proper manner. Give her some real stuff to work with, and just kind of let her run with it. Let her do her thing. Again, Kevin Williamson, I trust Kevin Williamson. I expect him to get her involved, get her on board, and then put her in a position to have some success. But again, I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? First off, do you like the idea of Judy Greer in the upcoming Scream film? What kind of role and character do you want her to play? Do you want her to be Ghostface? Do you not? Do you want her to kind of be a red herring? Do you like the idea of her kind of being this Karen type player or character? And again, the theme continues to be that like people hate Sidney Prescott. So I'm curious to see the different interactions and, different character sort of combatants, I guess, that this film is going to have, right? Like, it seems like she's, you saw it in Scream 4, right? She was looked at as the angel of death, right? Like, she's the one that, like, you don't want to be around. And I could see that, especially like if you're a neighbor, if you have Sidney Prescott living across from you, right? You'd probably not be really happy. You'd probably be like, like how safe am I, right? Like I know I would. Like if I had Sidney Prescott across the street, even if she was great, right? It's just like if you know her history, it's like, man, like what happens if Ghostface comes after her and decides to come take me out first, right? Like comes over across the street first, try to take out the neighbors. Like it's just you're in the line of fire, so to speak, as long as you're within proximity of her, right? So I don't know, but I do. I like the idea. I do. I think there's a lot of fun, a lot of potential here, and again, hopefully they do Judy Greer justice because I think she'll do her role and the franchise justice. But execution, storytelling, delivery, it's all very important. But anyway, again, as always, let me know down in the comments below. Have a feel, whatever your thoughts are. Love to hear it. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.